think it's really important for the youth to be speaking to, the old,
Go ahead.
It's okay.
Go ahead, say it.
Hey, that's okay. We get it.
yeah, so that,
Go ahead. I'll say it for you, the old people.
Yeah. That's us. But we get it, and we are inspired by you.
Yeah.
The courage, the strength, and the voice that you bring to this room is incredible.
Yeah. And I'll just say, too, that so you are such an important part of that for us, to show that we respect you, we respect your voice, we respect your peers. We see you as partners in this work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And by the way, your parents are here, and we should give them a round of applause as well. I think in the back there. Oh, right there. There's Dad right back there.
Hello. And we also have Fatia Ayat, who you heard from earlier. Fatia, an incredible young lady, a very strong voice for UNICEF. She is here, of course, with her mother, father, and brother, and we will hear more from her about what inspired her to do all the incredible things that she's doing. And now we can have Fatia and Michael join me on the stage. Thank you for this time, and thank you for the ability to have this conversation. And I'm curious, we got to hear you earlier. Incredible and inspiring. Yeah. I'm curious to know what did you see? What happened in your life? What inspired you, first of all, to become part of UNICEF, but also to really take action in your life at such a young age?
Thank you for asking me this question, Mr. Howell. I just want to say how happy and honored I am to be sitting in this panel tonight.
Absolutely.
Looking back at my 5 years of advocacy, I remember that the very start was actually with UNICEF. The International Girl Child's Day event was held in 2019 on my birthday in the UNICEF house in New York. And my parents took me to that event. And there I met Miss Maria Monsef, the former Canadian State Minister for Women Affairs. And I told her about how much I care for children and for the environment. And after talking to her, I realized that UNICEF could be the best possible platform for me to raise my voice. But it was beyond my imagination that 5 years later, I would be sitting in a panel with UNICEF USA CEO and D. George Howell at a UNICEF event.
It is an honor for me to sit across from you.
Thank you. And this organization is important to me, not just because it's how I started my journey, but also because I recognize and realize the amount of tedious work and sincere effort that UNICEF is dedicating for children. And since I want to belong in such a world where no child suffers, I am truly grateful to UNICEF for working towards creating that.
Thank you. Thank you. What? Yes. I'm curious from your perspective when you hear what Michael describes and the things that you know and have seen. What is it like for you at such a young age to understand these really harsh realities, but to appreciate and see people that are here to support and groups that are taking action?
When I see all the problems and issues that are going on in the world, I'm definitely very heartbroken.
Sure. Because
children really, they don't contribute to much of these issues, yet they're the ones who are affected the most. So when I see that, I am definitely really heartbroken because they honestly don't deserve this. And like UNICEF says, for every child, we will keep working for every child, right? And when I see, like, for example, all of you here, when I see all of you, I am truly greatly happy because I know that all of you have a personal, or most of you have a personal connection with UNICEF, and you are here tonight because you care and because you want to help every child. So definitely I am really heartbroken, but I'm also really happy, and I'm also really encouraged to keep advocating, because I know that the more people I reach, the more help children will get.
I'd like to ask you a question as well, and we chatted just a bit about this before we came up here on stage, but how important do you feel it is for you to have that microphone right there? And this audience here, knowing what you know, and so determined and focused on being, an advocate for child rights and for the climate crisis that we all see playing out. How important is it for you to have the mic right now?
I honestly think that any young person who is advocating is very important, because right now we need the youth perspective.
Right.
We've always heard about, from other people what's going on to the children or the youth. But to hear from a youth and what they understand about other youth, I think that is really critical. And it's not just me. I know a lot of other advocates, some of my friends also in other countries, and they are also trying to raise their voice, and they're doing an incredible job at making the public aware about the issues. So I think it's really important for the youth to be speaking to, the
Go ahead.
It's okay.
Go ahead, say it.
Hey, that's okay. We get it.
yeah, so that,
Go ahead. I'll say it for her, the old people.
Yeah. That's us. But we get it, and we are inspired by you.
Yeah.
The courage, the strength, and the voice that you bring to this room is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll just say too that so you are such an important part of that for us, to show that we respect you, we respect your voice, we respect your peers. We see you as partners in this work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Patia, look, as an old guy, all right?
adult.
As an old guy, it's a middle-aged guy, all right? But with children, right? And many of us have young people in our lives. I'm curious to ask you, what would you advise us to do, to say, to expose our children to young people that are in our lives? What should they see? What should they know? What would trigger them to have that spark of passion and understanding and awareness that you have that certainly activated you?
I think that's a very important question, so thank you for asking. And it becomes a common phenomenon that people often tell me, I know all the problems in the world, but I just don't know how to start.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good food for thought. And that's where I think parents come in. Like my parents, they have always shared world news with me. At dinner, they've always told me what's going on in the world in terms of economic affairs, politics, climate change, and so on. And they've always asked me to come up with my own opinion and share what I think about a particular issue. And I admit, even though sometimes, or most of the time, my answer was silly, I think that's what really got me to think and to help me exercise my analytical ability. And my parents have always pushed me and encouraged me to use any opportunity that I get to speak out. Even yesterday, I had my ELA state test. And right after school, I boarded the plane to come here to Atlanta to join this amazing event. And I still have more schoolwork and classwork waiting for me at home. But I did not want to miss this opportunity to speak here and be here tonight. And so what I would say to parents, parents always want the best for their children.
Yes.
But what I would say is that really to ask the children about their opinion will really get them thinking and help them to exercise their analytical ability, and also to encourage them to use any opportunity that they get to speak out and to raise their voice about what they're passionate about.
Thank you. Please.
And by the way, your parents are here, and we should give them a round of applause as well. I think in the back there. Oh, right there. There's Dad right back there.
Hello. Fatia, just in closing, you're off to the UN next?
On the 25th.
On the 25th.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Very busy, very busy. One question that I have for you just as we close tonight. I talked a bit about empathy, caring, understanding. Do you feel the things that you're doing right now in your life, do you feel that young people that see you doing that, are they getting the message? Do you feel that they see you, they hear you, and they're inspired to follow?
I'll give an example of my friends. Like I mentioned, one of my classmates in my remarks earlier on, and I was actually, before she asked me that question, I was actually talking to her about this event because she wanted to know, because I told her I was going to Atlanta and she wanted to know why.
Sure.
So I was talking to her about, you know, what I'm going to be talking about and just like to aware her about some of the issues. And she was so interested in what I was saying that I didn't take her attention away for 3 whole minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And she was definitely really interested, and one of my other friends, she asked, how can I start advocating as well? I think that my friends really get the message about what I'm trying to do, because I'm always rushing from school to programs and they're always asking why. And when I explain, I think they really get the message and they get why I'm doing what I do, and they're really interested to help as well.
Thank you. Thank you. And we just want to take a moment to thank you again for being here with us. Thank you for taking time to give us this insight.